Lynn, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to chat with you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, what you write about.
I published my book last year, December, and I wrote it initially in the Netherlands because I'm from South Africa, and then we moved to the Netherlands, and I just thought it was a good time to to write. I mean, this is the pandemic. I'm out of work, so it was just my way of purging. And then eventually I realized that this is actually this is going to be a book. um, so it's called Break Those Damn Rules, and it's an intimate journey of self-discovery. So it's a self-help book, but I've got lots of tips about entrepreneurship and how to transform your life. Two things I'm very passionate about. So at the moment, I'm a keynote speaker on culture and innovation and change. And I provide workshops as well on cultural intelligence and change.
Awesome. Yeah, when I saw your book title and your email address, I was like, okay, Lynn is my type of person. We speak the same language here, so I'm really excited for this. Thinking back to your writing process, were there any sort of struggles that came up for you, maybe mindset related or strategy related?
Both, yes. Look, for me, it didn't pan out as a book. So as I said, maybe it was lucky because I don't think I would have written the book if it was set out to be a book. No. So it was what I would suggest to anyone who's starting out is just to write. Pretend it's just a journal. It's just a diary. No one's going to see it because I've noticed once I've realized that I'm going to publish this book, I became more meticulous about what I'm writing, and I kept curbing myself. So I had to constantly remind myself, just let go. This is just it's just a first draft. No one's going to see it. So that's very important because that first draft is your golden nuggets, and then you can go back and redraft it up. And
Mhm.
um, and then obviously you get a time constraint because I had well, actually I had three offers for the book, and I realized I really need to take this seriously. And then I started getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning because my family, I've got two little children and a husband, and anything from 7, 8 o'clock is not my time. So I needed to make sure that I've got at least 2, 3 hours in the morning uninterrupted writing where I can just flow. So if you are really serious about writing, I would strongly recommend that. It's just to get up early. It becomes easier, I promise you. It sounds crazy getting up at 4, but it actually becomes like an addiction. Like you just want to get up at 4 and see the sun come up, and it's 4 now. So it's like, oh yes, I feel like a little bit of a remnant coming out here.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's such a great tip. And I think, everyone has their own schedules, right? There's certain times of the day where it's like, okay, the kids are down for a nap or they're at daycare or whatever, and you have that time for yourself. But I love you sharing that tip. And something you said earlier as well reminded me of a quote that I am absolutely going to butcher, but it goes something along the lines of, in order to get over your fear of writing, you have to forget about it ever being read. And I love that because it
Yes,
takes that pressure off, right? That's exactly what you said.
exactly. That is perfect. Who wrote that?
I have no idea. It's on my Instagram somewhere. So if you feel like searching for it, it is attributed there. And if anyone sees this and knows who that quote is from, like please comment and let me know so that I can give proper attribution to that. But going
That's
back to
brilliant.
to sorry, go ahead.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, it's such a good quote. So going back to kind of your story, what was that shift where you were like, okay, this is going to be a book? What made that decision for you?
I think once I hit the 20,000 mark, the 20,000 words, I was like, whoa, this is serious. This is not a journal anymore. This is now becoming a book. And then I researched what it takes to publish a journal, a novel. And then they said minimum words was, I think, 30,000. So I thought, well, what's 20,000? I can write another 10,000. And then I wrote 10,000, and then it became 40. And then I knew, actually when I wrote 20,000, I knew I would be able to write easy about 60,000. And once I got to 60, I went up to 70, and then I had to like hold your horses now. We need to curve back now.
Absolutely. So obviously you had a lot to say, right? You had a lot of expertise, you had a lot of thoughts you wanted to share. How did you go about taking everything that was in your head and structuring that into something that readers could actually understand and work through?
Yeah, that made it a lot easier for me. So I went back and I started blocking it off in a certain, either a theme that I wanted to write about or a time period. So I wrote about quite a lot of hard topics. So I knew I had to bring in a lot of more light, because no one just wants to be brought down and read horrible things. So I had to make sure that there was a good balance. So I had to map it out. I mapped out my book, the journey that I was going to take the reader on. And then you got to ask yourself, would you want to read it? How would it be phrased? How would it flow for you as a reader to be in it and to not want to put it down?
Mhm.
So that helped me just to write the little themes for each chapter, and then write per chapter. Because also, I don't know about other writers, but I'm fickle. The 1 minute I want to. It depends on your mood. So sometimes you wake up and you're feeling sad, and then I'll write about my sadness. And then I'll wake up happy, and then I'll write about my happy journey. So I felt inspired, and then I'm just writing about all my entrepreneurship journey. So it just depends on what you go for. And I think that was very important for me to honor my flow, honor my mood, because it comes out stronger. But that being said, there was a huge shift in when we moved to the UK. So the way I wrote was kind of down, because I was down. So once
Mhm.
I moved to the UK in May, the mood immediately picked up, because my mood was way better. And that's when the hard part came in, because then I had to go back and basically rewrite everything. So just be aware of your mood and what type of book you are going to write, because it will influence, and you will definitely see a different. It's almost like two different authors. Um,
Mhm.
like my husband read it and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" So I said, "Well, you can see this is this is when we came to the UK." So it's like, "Wow, that's a big difference."
Yeah, absolutely. What advice could you give someone who's maybe struggling with that, where they're in a season of a certain mood, but they're writing about a season of a different mood? Obviously, you can't just say, okay, I'm not going to write again until I'm happy, because that could take however long it takes, whatever life happens. But so what type of advice would you give that person who's maybe struggling with that balance?
And I've got for me personally, I'm a morning person, so I'm always happy in the morning. I always wake up in a good mood, so that definitely influences the writing as well. So you should know yourself as a person, whether you a morning person or an evening person. So try and maybe go try it out, try different things, because I know a lot of authors just lock themselves in, and then they don't close, they don't open the doors for anyone. I had certain days. So when I felt inspired in the morning, and I was like, okay, listen, husband, I need you to please just step in today. I don't want to be interrupted. I've got a creative thing going. So if you've got that luxury to do that, then do that, because I think once you've got that creativity coming up, and you want to, there's an important message that you want to get it out. Don't get it tampered out with outside influences. And
Mhm.
happiness is a choice, really. It really is a choice, and it's a mindset that you need to set up for yourself. So you just need to know what's the most important. Is it your book, or is it the way you feel right now? And try and lie to yourself. I know a lot of people are gonna kill me for this, but I am a firm believer in that. That you know, you fake it till you make it, because you're. I will just go into this very quickly because this really helped me a lot. As I explained, I was really depressed there in the Netherlands, and I'm naturally very happy, optimistic person. So me being depressed is really something horrible to see. And what I had to do, I had to change the story, the narrative, because you know inside your stomach you've got like this knot, and it's like fear and anxiety, and it's all these horrible emotions. And I started looking up, you know, how to change these things. And what I've read is it's that it's literally just the emotion that you feel in your stomach is the same as happiness. It's just the
Hmm.
way your brain register the message and tell yourself which one it is. So that's literally all it is. That butterflies or that knot can actually be butterflies. You just got to arm yourself with a story. So what I did every time I felt that fear and anxiety coming up in my stomach, I would immediately, I call it like my happiness pouch. I would quickly look into my happiness pouch, and I would be prepared. So I would set out things for the day that I'm excited for, whether it's a beautiful walk down the canal or baking a cake with my children or anything. It can be really simple. It doesn't have to be big things. And that really helped, because every time I felt that fear, I quickly turned the narrative and I said, "Oh, I'm so excited to go and bake a cake. Oh, I'm so excited to go for a walk." And it takes a while, but it does work. So just a little tip that I used, and it really worked for me.
Yeah. No, I love that tip. Lynn, this has been amazing. Is there anything else you want to share with any aspiring authors who might be struggling to get their manuscripts finished?
Just do it. Just do it.
The
It's the
Nike slogan, just do it, just do it.
Just do it. It's like it's the best feeling ever, because it's something, and that's actually what my husband kept reminding me. He said, "This is your labor of love." Because I'm not a someone on the finer details. I'm a big picture person, you know. I'm like run all in, and I forget often about the small little details. And he had to constantly remind me, it's a labor of love. This is your legacy. This is something you're going to leave behind for life. People are going to read this. So give it the due diligence that it deserves. Um, yeah, so I think once you've got that, and give yourself a deadline. It really helped me to give myself a deadline, say by like July, I wanted to finish my first draft. So I knew it's going to take at least 3-4 months for editing and getting the book cover, etc., designed.
Hmm. Hmm. This has been awesome. Lynn, thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
It's a pleasure.